I make a small mistake that feels like nothing. I glance away from my dryer. I am standing in a laundromat that smells like warm lint and lemon cleaner, watching my clothes tumble behind cloudy glass. The place is too bright in the wrong way. Fluorescent tubes buzzing above me like a thin insect whine. Outside, night presses against the windows, turning them into black mirrors. I look away only to check the time. The watch on my wrist is old, a hand-me-down I keep because it makes me feel anchored. The face is scratched, the numbers slightly faded, the band stiff with age. I tilt it to catch the light. The second hand ticks backward, not smoothly, not like a novelty. It goes in firm, deliberate steps, as if time is rewinding itself one beat at a time. I stop breathing. I look up at the dryer. The display above the door reads 18 minutes. A moment ago it reads 31. I stare at it hard, waiting for it to correct. Waiting for my brain to admit it is tired, waiting for the digits to jump back to where they belong. Instead, the dryer chimes. The drum slows. The heat sighs out. The machine unlocks with a soft click. I step closer and put my hand on the glass. It is warm. The clothes inside look finished, heavy and still. I look around the room for an explanation that does not exist. There are only three other people. A man in a paint-stained hoodie folding towels with slow, careful movements. A teenage girl sitting on a plastic chair, face lit by her phone. An older woman feeding quarters into a washer, her shoulders hunched like she is bracing for weather. No one reacts to my dryer finishing early. I tell myself I must have misread the timer. I tell myself the display was flickering. I tell myself I am jumpy because my day has been too long and I have been too alone in it. My watch ticks backward again. I freeze. The sound is tiny, but it feels like it is coming from inside my wrist. I whisper, just to test it, just to see if my own voice makes reality snap back into place. I say, it is fine. The second hand jumps backward faster. I stare at it until my eyes water. The watch does not spin wildly. It does not break. It simply insists that my lies wait. My mouth goes dry. I take my clothes out of the dryer. They are hot, almost too hot, like they have been running longer than they should. When I shake out a shirt, static bites my fingers. I carry the load to a folding table under the brightest lights. The table surface is speckled gray and slightly sticky. The overhead fixtures reflect in the polished plastic edge like thin white scars. Reflections. I try not to think about them. I fold quickly, eyes down, hands busy. The watch sits heavy on my wrist. Every time I swallow, I feel it. The teenage girl laughs at something on her phone. Short breathy sound. It echoes wrong. The fluorescent buzz seems to pulse around it. I look up without meaning to. The wall behind the girl is lined with vending machines and a change dispenser, all glossy panels and dark glass. In the black of the soda machine, I see the reflection of the room, and in that reflection, behind me, something stands too close. My shoulders lock. My fingers stop mid-fold. I stare at the soda machine as if I can burn through the glass. The reflected figure is not a person I recognize. It is tall, thinner than it should be, its head slightly tilted like it is listening to the back of my neck. It does not move the way a person shifts weight. It holds still in a way that feels practiced. I do not turn around. I tell myself it is a trick of angle. I tell myself it is the man in the hoodie. I tell myself anything. My watch ticks backward. One step, another. I realize I am lying. I force my eyes away from the reflection and finally turn. There is nothing behind me, only the row of dryers, their round doors like dull eyes. Only my laundry basket on the floor. Only the smell of detergent and heat. I turn back to the soda machine. The reflected figure is still there. It is closer now. I feel the skin on my arms tighten. The hairs lift as if a storm is coming, but the air inside is stale and warm. I look down at my watch because I cannot look at the reflection anymore. The second hand ticks backward in steady, patient beats. I swallow and speak carefully, measuring each word as if it is a wire I might trip. I say, I am seeing things. The watch jumps backward twice in quick succession. Now, my stomach twists. I stand up straighter and keep my eyes on the real room, not the mirrored one. I pretend I am normal. I fold the last shirt. I stack everything into my basket. The dryers behind me thrum as others run. Their timers glow. Their doors reflect little crescents of light. I want to leave. The exit is on the far wall, glass door with a metal handle. Beyond it is a dark parking lot, the street lamp throwing a circle of sickly yellow on wet pavement. I pick up my basket and start walking. As I move, I keep catching fragments of myself in surfaces. The chrome trim of a washer, the black panel of the change machine, the window glass. In every reflection, the tall thin figure moves with me. Not in the room, only in the reflection. It matches my pace without walking. It slides, it glides, it never breaks its posture. I stop. In the real room, I stop in the middle aisle. The man in the hoodie looks up briefly, then back down. The older woman keeps feeding quarters. The girl keeps scrolling. In the reflection on the washer door, the figure stops too. It is directly behind my reflected shoulder, so close that if it were real, I would feel its breath. I do not, but my skin insists I should. I back away from the washer door, turning slightly so I cannot see my own reflection. My heart is loud in my ears. My watch ticks backward, not because I am lying, because I am trying not to admit what I know. I force myself toward the exit, eyes fixed on the real door, on the handle on the outside darkness. Halfway there, I pass the row of dryers again. The one I use sits empty now, door closed, display dark. I glance at it. In the curved glass, I see the reflection of the aisle behind me. The figure is not behind me anymore. It is inside the dryer. It stands in the drum where my clothes were, elongated and folded wrong, as if it has learned the shape of a human by watching it through glass. The dryer door in the real world is shut. The drum is empty, but in the reflection, it presses one hand against the inside of the glass. I stumble back so hard my heel catches and I nearly drop the basket. The plastic scrapes the tile and the sound snaps through the room. The teenage girl looks up. The man in the hoodie pauses mid-fold. The older woman turns her head. Their eyes come to me, and for 1 second I see myself reflected in all of them, in their gazes, in the shine of their pupils. And in that instant, the figure is there too, not in the room, but layered over me like a shadow in a mirror. I force a laugh that sounds like a cough. I say, sorry, slippery floor. My watch ticks backwards so sharply it hurts, like the band Titans. I am lying. The floor is not slippery. I just cannot say the truth out loud, because saying it makes it more real. I pick up the basket and move faster. My hands tremble so hard the folded clothes shift. As I pass the soda machine again, I cannot help looking. The reflection shows the figure walking now, but wrong. Its limbs moving in delayed pieces. It heads for the exit as if it knows where I am going. In the real room, there is nothing, but the glass door to the outside has a window. A reflection. I stop 2 steps from it. If the presence exists only in reflections, then the door is a threshold it can use. My mind scrambles for rules, for logic, for something to grab. I think about old stories, about mirrors covered after death, about refusing to look. I can avoid reflections. I can keep my eyes down and leave, but the laundromat is made of shiny surfaces. Even the tile floor holds faint ghost images under the lights. My watch ticks backward again. I whisper, I am okay. The watch jumps back. I am not. I look to the side toward the dryers and notice something else. The dryers finish early only when I stop watching them. It happens once and I dismiss it. It happens twice and I feel it is a pattern. Now, as I stand near the door, I hear a dryer chime behind me. A different one. The man in the hoodie glances up at the sound, confused, because his dryer timer still reads 22, but the machine has stopped. Duh. He walks to it, frowning, and pulls the door open. He looks inside and his face changes, not to fear exactly, but to a blankness like his thoughts have been wiped. He reaches in. He pulls out nothing. His hands come out empty, but he shakes them as if fabric is clinging to his fingers. The older woman watches him, mouth slightly open. The teenage girl lifts her phone, filming maybe, or just holding it like a shield. The fluorescent buzz grows louder in my head. I realize something else. The dryer only finishes early when someone stops watching it. When the drum is unobserved, something else gets to finish its cycle. My skin crawls. I look down at my watch again. The second hand is still going backward. I think, if it ticks backward when I lie, then it is telling me I am lying about something even when I do not speak. I am lying to myself about what is happening. I am lying by calling it a presence, by pretending it is outside me, by acting like I can leave and it will stay here. The watch keeps rewinding. The man in the hoodie closes his dryer door slowly, as if he is afraid to let air out. He looks at the dark glass, sees his own face reflected. He flinches. He turns sharply, scanning the room as if he feels someone behind him. But there is no one. Only reflections. He steps away from the dryer, eyes wide, breathing quick, and the dryer chimes again. The timer display, which still reads 22, flickers and then goes dark. The man backs up, bumping into a folding table. A bottle of detergent wobbles and falls, spilling thick blue liquid that crawls across the surface like slow blood. The teenage girl makes a small sound, not a scream, more like a question. The older woman clutches her purse to her chest. I do not move, because the moment I stop watching the reflections, my own dryer, my own cycle, my own mistake, becomes irreversible. I am suddenly certain that looking away is what allows it to move. Not in the room, in the mirrors. I turn my head slightly, using my peripheral vision to keep the door window out of sight. I cannot let it use that pain. I cannot let it step into the reflection that leads outside. But I also cannot keep watching everything at once. My eyes flick between surfaces like a trapped animal. The chrome trim shows a blur of the figure. The soda machine shows it raising its head. The washer doors show it closer, always closer. The tiles show a smear of darkness where my shadow should be. I grip my basket until my knuckles ache. I need help. I need to tell someone. But my watch punishes lies, and I do not know how to speak truth about something that should not exist. I step toward the older woman because she looks like she might listen, like she has lived long enough to believe odd things. I open my mouth. I try to say, do you see it? But what comes out is, do you see me? The words are wrong, and the watch snaps backwards so hard the second hand blurs. The older woman squints at me. Her eyes flick to my wrist. Her gaze lingers on the watch. Her face tightens. She says, that thing keeps time for liars. My throat closes. I stare at her. She does not look at my face anymore. She looks at the reflections around me, like she knows where not to look and cannot help looking anyway. She whispers, do not watch them too long. Do not stop watching them at all. It likes the switch. The teenage girl stands up, phone still in hand. The screen is bright, a perfect mirror when it goes dark between taps. In that tiny black flash, I see the figure behind her. She sees it too. Her mouth opens. The phone slips from her fingers and hits the tile. The screen goes black, a perfect reflection. The lights above flicker once. In the glossy tile around the fallen phone, the figure stretches, suddenly wider, as if it has found a door. The girl backs away, hands up, eyes fixed on the floor. She is watching it. I cannot watch it and the door and the dryers and my watch all at once. The man in the hoodie bolts for the exit. He grabs the metal handle and yanks. The glass door swings open and the black outside air pushes in. The door window catches the room light and becomes a mirror for half a second. In that reflection, the figure stands on the other side of the threshold already, facing in. The man freezes mid-step, as if he has run into an invisible wall. His eyes go glassy. He turns slowly and walks back inside, letting the door close behind him with a gentle click. He does not look at any of us. He walks to the row of dryers, stops at one that is still running, and stands in front of it. He watches it. As long as he watches it, it cannot finish early. As long as it cannot finish early, whatever is completing its cycle cannot complete. But his eyes do not blink. The older woman grips my arm with fingers that feel like dry twine. She says, "You brought it in with that watch." I shake my head. My watch ticks backward. I am lying again. I remember the moment I found the watch in my father's drawer after the funeral, the way it felt warm in my palm. The way the second hand moved wrong for just a moment when I told my sister I did not want it. I wanted it. I lied. I brought it home. I brought it everywhere. And now, in this room made of reflections, it feels like a key. The older woman pulls me closer, eyes darting. She says, "If you want to leave, you do not look at the door. You look at the floor. You do not look at your own face. You do not lie." My mouth trembles. I say, "I will not lie." The watch ticks forward. For the first time tonight, it moves the right way. The relief is so sharp it makes me dizzy. The older woman releases my arm and backs toward the corner, keeping her eyes on the man who is still staring at the running dryer. The teenage girl crouches to grab her phone without looking at its black screen. She covers it with her palm, smearing fingerprints across the glass. I shift my basket higher in my arms and step toward the exit, eyes down, focusing on the matte parts of the tile, the scuffed places that do not shine. Behind me, a dryer chimes. I do not turn. I cannot. I hear the man in the hoodie exhale a sound like relief, like he is grateful it is over. Then I hear him start to cry. The older woman whispers something that might be a prayer or might be a warning. My watch ticks forward, steady. I reach the door. My hand finds the handle. The metal is cold enough to sting. I pull. The door opens and the parking lot air hits my face, damp and sharp. I keep my eyes down, stepping over the threshold, and then my watch ticks backward once. A single, deliberate step. I have not spoken. So I ask myself what I am lying about. I am lying about being outside. I lift my gaze without meaning to, just a fraction, and in the dark glass of the door I catch my reflection. My face looks pale, eyes too wide, and over my shoulder, pressed close, is the tall thin figure, its head tilted, its hand resting on my reflected wrist as if it is feeling the watch tick. The second hand starts racing backward, and the door begins to swing shut on its own, slow and gentle, like someone careful not to make a sound.